Hello guys, welcome back. So let's move ahead and bring our model to our texturing package, which is Substance Painter. Okay, so to start with, I'm gonna go grab all the models we have and then go for File, Export Selection. And we're gonna put it into a folder that is inside of source image. And then we create a new folder. That's how you do it. Just click on that little folder and give it a name. And you go to texturing and you look, just save it somewhere there. I'm going to name it all_low FBX and export selection. I have one there already, so I'm going to override it. All right, cool. So now you want to open Substance Painter, okay? And then Substance Painter is the most popular texturing package in recent years. I always get this warning which says the TDR wait time is too low. So if your system is not very strong, you probably want to change it, but I haven't have a huge issue with it, so I'm gonna keep it like this. But you can just follow that step-by-step guide to fix the warning they're having. My current rig is having GeForce RTX 2080, so I think it's actually okay. It's powerful enough to handle intensive work. Okay, anyway, so we're using also a version that is 2018.3.1. It's asking me for a new version. I don't really necessarily to have it. Okay, so I'm gonna go for File and then New and then Select, and then I'm gonna grab my file here and hit Open. Okay, and then the documentation resolution can be 2K for now. Again, based on your performance, you can maybe go for 4K if you're confident. Oftentimes you need a lot of VRAM. That's the RAM on the video card to be able to handle 4K. My VRAM is 8 gigabits. It's probably gonna be enough for 4K, but I'm gonna go for 2K anyways, just for the performance, because I'm also recording. Okay, and hit OK. That's gonna allow me to load all the objects. Okay, navigation is exactly like Maya, so you should feel familiar with it already. The same goes to the 2D view, or the same goes in the 2D view exactly like Maya's UV editor. On the right side, let me see if I can reset the UI. So we're having the same UI. Okay, so on the left side you have the texture set list. Okay, let me drag it over here and make it longer. This is basically all the material we have assigned here. Okay, you can click on different parts. You can see they're swapping to different UVs. Okay, check in paints material and metal material. Okay, because that's all the UVs. Substance Painter hate overlapped UVs. It's gonna have really low performance when you do that, and that's actually what's happening on the hair material. Okay, so if you start drawing here, it's gonna have a lot of problem figuring out what's going on, because there are so many hair cards, and they're actually being laid out from left to right, in multiple vertical strips. Okay, so yeah, that's something you don't want to touch. We'll actually leave this alone, or we can apply our hair texture that we already have, but we don't really need to texture it that much in here. We could use a bunch of ramps. We could set that up in the game engine or in Maya when we're rendering. Have some ramp to control different parts to have some variation. So it's not that important here yet. Well, maybe we'll address it later. Okay, so let's take a look at what we have when we start baking some of the parts. Okay, so I'm gonna go grab the body. You can hold it down Control and Alt and right click on the body. That's gonna swap to the body material. And then we can go to the texture set settings, and then we need to start baking the channels, those different textures that store the information from the high-res model. So you click on the bake mesh map, actually bake those mesh maps here, right? So the output size will be, of course, I'm gonna go for 4K, just because I want to be able to scalable to 4K. Okay, and we need a high definition mesh. Okay, that high definition mesh will be something we need to grab from ZBrush. So let me hold it down Alt and click on the body to swap to the body material, the body model here. Okay, Hopefully I'm there, or I can grab it here. Okay, and then let me solo it. Okay, this is the body model. Okay, the body model has not just the body, but also the fishnet. Okay, the reason we're doing that here in the fish inside of ZBrush is because it's very easy to set up, and you got this very good layout of the fishnet because it's based on the topology. Anyway, so with this fishnet here, one thing we do want to do is we want to make the fishnet to have its own polygroup. So if you hit Shift F and take a look, you can see what's really interesting here is that the fishnet is having a different polygroup. The body has another one, and the fingernails has also a different one. Okay. All right. So to be able to do that, in this case, what you wanted to do is you want to hold it down, Control Shift to just grab somewhere around the head and Control Shift A. Okay, that's gonna grow out to grow all the connected geometries. That means just the body, and you Control W to give this guy a group. Okay, and then you Control Shift and drag to reverse your visibility, and that's gonna give you the fingernails and the fishnet. You can Control W to give them the same polygroup, and you can hold it down Control and drag to mask out the fingernails, and Control W to give the nail also a different group. That's how I created those 3 different polygroups. Now this is really useful because polygroup can transfer their color to actual vertex color, and that's going to be really useful because they can be used as an ID map. So let me show you how that is done. What you do is you go to the polypen. Okay, and then you go to the polypen from polygroups. Just hit that button. Okay, now you can see what's going on is that it's using the polygroup's color to actually polypaint the geometry. Now one thing I don't quite like is that I'm having the fishnet to have a color that is really close to the body. So I'm going to Control Z to go back to the isolation part. I'm going to say, okay, I want the fishnet to be a different color. So I'm going to grab that and then Control W one more time. That's green. That's not very good. Another one. That's blue. Okay, one more time. Control W. Another blue. I kind of want it to be something like a red. Okay, that's better. So that way it's easier to differentiate. Let me Control Shift and click to get everything back again. And then do another polypaint from polygroups. Okay, you can see now we have very visible different colors, RGB, right? Red, green, and blue colors. You don't have to be exactly like mine, but just make sure that you have different colors when you do this polypaint from polygroups. So very visible contrast. All right, so when that is done, then we can get the body out. What you do is you go to the export, make sure that you don't have the group on. Otherwise, it's going to separate those different parts. And then you go for export. Okay, and I'm going to put it into the Maya project source image, not hair texturing. Actually, I have to go to the character texturing part, Maya project source image, and then we go to the yeah, that is the texturing actually. So I'm going to call this guy body underscore high. Okay, and save it. Okay, based on how heavy the model is, it may take actually a little while. Oh, actually, we have 32 million polygons in this character. That 11 million is actually just the body. That's how much polygon we have. The reason we're having that much polygon is because we have a lot of details. We have projected quite a few different details on the body, like the wrinkles, like little pores and stuff. So that's why it's so heavy. Okay, so it's gonna take a while to load. Okay, so be patient, give it some time for it to actually writing the geometry, to finish writing the OBJ file. Okay, you can see it's writing with polypaint. The polypaint is going to be something called a p-text color, which it does remembers the color for every individual point. And that p-text color can be used to make an ID map. Okay, so now when that is done, let's go back to Substance Painter, and then we can go to the head definition meshes and load that. Okay, so I'm gonna go grab the body high and then open it. Okay, that's our high-res mesh. Scroll down to the bottom. We want to have some anti-aliasing, so I'm gonna change that to 4x4. Okay, and then you want to click on the bake body material mesh maps. Okay, don't click on that because that's gonna bake everyone, but we're only taking care of the body for now. So let's bake body material mesh maps. Okay, and let it go for a little while. This is gonna take also quite some time because we're baking a 4K image with 4 times anti-aliasing, and it's a really heavy model. So I'm gonna pause the video until all the baking is done. Alright, that takes longer than I thought, but as you can see now afterwards we have the normal map baked. Let me hit solo to take a look. You can see we have the body and we have baked the fishnet also. For now we're still using 2K, so if you want to take a look at a better quality, you can go to the size of the texture and you can change that to 4K. And it's going to update to the 4K image. You can see now that's the details we have baked. Okay. All right. Now, one good thing about, again, the fishnet is that on the body is that we do have a map called ID. Okay. So this ID map, if you're using default setting, you should do this. So that's actually baked. If you go to the bake mesh in the ID part, it's baked based on the vertex color. Okay. So what's good about this is that we can then use the ID map to as a mask. So if I go ahead and create a new fill layer, which will fill all the colors in and block everything underneath, so we can change the color to something like a black. Okay, and then we can right click, add a black mask, and right click on the mask, we can add a color selection. Okay, and then we pick color here, we can then pick the red color. Okay, now you can see we're having the fishnet as a black color. Okay, there's some clipping here, but that doesn't matter because those are going to be blocked by the garments. Okay, just to be able to visualize this. All right, cool. So that's going to be the baking for the body. Okay, so let's move on to the next video and we can talk about the baking of other parts. Okay, see you next time.